It's just all the way down the rabbit hole. I want to do another clip of another stupid person just for fun because I want to get into like hammer this point home. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene just recently, another EPA commissioner, Michael Regan, talking to him, and she just, I don't know. I don't know where she's going with this. She's just crazy.
$34.8 trillion in debt. And one of the reasons is because of the reckless spending of the Biden administration, all due to climate cultist beliefs that they have got to regulate and spend hard-earned tax dollars in order to control the climate. The Biden administration's cumulative new regulatory costs imposed surpass all of his predecessors. According to analysis of the administration's own published cost estimates, as of May 17, 2024, the administration had already imposed $1.6 trillion in new regulatory costs. That $1.6 trillion is almost the entire budget for 1 year.
Okay. So, okay. Man-made climate change, that's got the scientific consensus. And when I say consensus, because I've had this discussion before, it's not a consensus of we called a bunch of scientists and asked them what they think. This is a consensus of the body of work done on this, the conclusions of the findings. Some of these scientists that have concluded, yeah, well, the evidence points that climate change is real, man-made climate change is real. Some of these scientists are like, nah, they don't necessarily personally believe it, but the evidence leads there. And as an academic and a scientist, you got to go with what the evidence says. So the consensus of the evidence is yes, it's real. In fact, there's a bigger consensus for climate change than there is for the theory of gravity. Just to give you a sense. So this is not something that's debated about, whether or not climate change is real. The other thing she's saying is, okay, 1.6 trillion, it's not true. So here's what it is. I've got it from the government themselves right here. All right, this was I'll scroll up and show you what it was. So this is just the progress report on the President Biden's climate finance pledge. So this is just sort of the running through it. You can read this whole thing if you want, but here's where it is highlighted here. So this is just 2022 from then. Total U.S. climate finance increased from 1.5 billion in fiscal year 2021 to 5.8 billion in fiscal year 2022. Of this, 2.3 billion was for adaptation, 2.8 billion was for clean energy, and 655 million was for sustainable landscapes. 2.6 billion was provided as grants, while the remainder was loans, loan guarantees, insurance products, and other financial instruments intended to leverage greater sums of private finance. This includes a 950 million concession loan to Clean Technology Fund. So she's off by a factor of like 1,000, like at least 500. So no, this is some 1.6 trillion. She might be doing that over like what the change is going to be over, like, I don't know, 50 years or whatever it's going to be. I don't know what it is. 10 years based on what it is. I think she's also including pushes for solar energy and pushes for electric batteries and things like that. Which part of it, that's a climate change thing. Part of that's just industrial adaptation. That's where the markets are eventually going to go. But what she's missing is the bigger point is where's the demand for this? That the government pay for these things in climate change and regulation. Well, there's a lot of demand from business and from commerce around the world. And that was part of the thing we were talking about with Trump earlier. But here we're going to go back, and here is CNN Business. This is what the companies estimate. This is corporate estimates here. Climate change is costing the U.S. $150 billion a year, right? So here it is, New York CNN. Every 3 weeks, the United States experiences an extreme weather event that produces $1 billion worth in damages. This is just what we're paying for every year. All right? Every 3 weeks, $1 billion from extreme weather that never happened before, according to the latest U.S. National Climate Assessment Report released earlier this month. Compare that to 40 years ago, when extreme weather episodes that cost an inflation-adjusted $1 billion happened once every 4 months on average. So now it's happening way more frequently. As of November 8th, there have been 25 weather and climate disasters with losses exceeding $1 billion, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, that exceeds last year's count, even without data from the last 2 months of the year. In total, extreme weather events cost $150 billion per year due to direct impacts such as infrastructure damage, worker injuries, and agricultural losses. The authors of the report estimate, and the cost of extreme weather events is expected to grow in the near term with a projected rise in sea levels and temperatures, the report states. Included in this year's tally are the devastating wildfires that took place in Hawaii over the summer, the damage from the wildfires, which took the lives of over 100 people and destroyed thousands of homes and businesses. Jesus. Cost $5.6 billion, according to an estimate from the National Centers for Environmental Information, the division of NOAA. There are also important economic implications. For instance, the authors of the report cited separate research published in April by MIT's Center for Real Estate, which found that property damage from hurricanes can result in higher mortgage delinquency rates as property owners become more financially stressed. The author also cited research that found flooding and rising sea levels lower home prices and property values as more people relocate to areas that are less prone to flooding. Hurricanes in the United States can also strain government budgets since they tend to lead to substantially higher social safety net disbursements, including unemployment insurance and public medical payments, according to research published in 2017. Do you think that if you're a business and you're shipping products and moving goods and you've got customers to service, that you're not incredibly concerned about this? If you're a business. How about if you're an individual and you're worried about your house? This is a major issue. So for her to sit there and go, oh, we're overspending on climate change, and then she cites a figure that's ridiculous, that makes no sense. Frankly, I don't think we're spending enough. But I think it's hilarious because that's how stupid these people are. You'd think somebody could at least tell them, this is not the fight you want to make. It doesn't make any sense. But it does for her, because that's how she's raising her money, through her constituents, most of whom are uneducated. Most of them don't know what's going on.